Hello and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs Cafe. I am Nikun Shakkar, and this podcast is dedicated to entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey and want to learn various aspects of entrepreneurship. In today's episode, we have Guru with us. Guru is a founder of Xobin. Xobin is one of the leading platform for pre-assessment for recruiting tech talent. Guru will share more insights about the platform, what it does. I have known Guru since last several years, and I have seen his journey. We'll ask a lot of interesting questions to Guru. So welcome to the show, Guru.
Hi Nikunj, thanks for hosting me. Hello to all. My name is Guruprakash. I am the founder and CEO of Xobin, and I'm really looking forward to engaging with Nikunj in this session.
So, Guru, let's start with your journey. I think it's been over 7 years. How did Zobin start?
Sure. So we started Xobin immediately after we graduated from our college. So Xobin is a recruitment software for enterprise companies, but we never had any experience in building recruitment softwares before. But with that background, we jumped in to start Xobin, just to give you a context. Now, why recruitment? Why this industry is the single question that every single VC in Bangalore has asked me, and because they had concerns about the market size, etc. But understanding people, their strengths and weaknesses, and interacting with them is something that I enjoy. That is something that I've been doing since my days at college. So I was building a project. We were building a search engine, and we had a team of over 70 people. Even some professors were part of this project, and our college was a pretty big college. So for hiring these 70 people, I would have assessed over 1,000 people. Eventually I realized that more than building the project, hiring these people was something that I really enjoyed doing. So we conducted aptitude tests back then, and so we primarily it is just that thing that understanding people, their strengths and weaknesses, is something that I really enjoyed doing. This was the core inspiration to start Zobin. And during our final year in college placement, uh, they asked me to clear a aptitude test. Once we clear the test, we'll be eligible for sitting for a companies for all the companies. So I was not able to clear that aptitude test. uh, so small fun fact, today majority of the companies that is going to this colleges are using our platform for conducting the aptitude tests. So but because I was not able to clear the aptitude test, I was checking through the recruitment process of various companies, and I found several gaps. I never knew I was qualified to solve this problem or not, but I really found several gaps which I thought can I can really contribute to. And I interacted with few founders through some of the organizations I volunteered with, and I got some insights, and I started building Zobin. That's how I started Zobin. In 2016, 2017.
Okay. So, tell us about the initial days of Jobin, right? As you mentioned, right, this was completely new industry. You did not have any experience. You started right from the college, right? So, how did you come up with the first version of the software? How did you validate it? And how did you reach out to initial set of customers?
Okay, so your question is, how did I get my initial set of customers, right? And how did we do? How was Zobin in the initial days, right? Okay, all right.
Right.
So when we started Zobin, clearly, we never had a clear focus on which exact single problem we wanted to solve, right? Because recruitment was a big thing, right? We, however, built a very, very simple solution to evaluate talent. Just a simple coding assessment platform is what we built by ourselves, and we launched, right? But as soon as we started, we got our funding. Let me tell you that this was in 2016 in Bangalore. If you had a pitch deck and if you are there for a month or two, you can walk out with check. It was very easy. No hard work was there. I had only pitched to one investor, and I got funding from that one investor. And but as soon as we got the funding, I realized the heat, of investment. And I understood that I have to make the investors happy, so we had to bring in revenue, we had to chase after several metrics, right? And I realized only after that. So what we did is, the first in Zobin, in total we've had three different pivots. That is, till COVID, till our successful version is live, till COVID we've pivoted twice. So the first attempt that we did is, we were more or less like a recruitment consultant. Okay. So we would go to companies and have a very simple pitch. Hey, you give us 30,000 Indian rupees and we will give you a candidate in 15 days. If we don't give you, take your money back. So like this, in a month, we did 2 lakhs revenue. It was a very, very well set pitch. And we were able to walk into the offices of many companies, right? And we were able to make some of them happy, to some of them we gave back the money to, right? And this was okay. This was a model that our investors were also were okay with, like so. But then so we got a so together the board said, hey, now step on the pedal, do this, make this 2 lakhs per month revenue to 20 lakhs, so that you can get near your series A, series B, and so the exciting picture can now start. And at that point of time, I really saw my team struggling to fulfill these roles, and I was just asking myself, is this what I wanted to do in first place, right? Because leave the investments aside, yes, we can get interesting money on table. A lot of people were putting money at that point of time, but I felt it was not the right time to scale, because it was a services. It was what we were doing was majority of the services. Many products are still doing that right now, by clubbing products and services. So I understood what I had to do. I had to cut down all services and make it as a platform and sell, because that is what is going to make me happy, and that is what is going to have a bigger impact on a longer run, so that we can build an asset at an outset. Well, so when we realized this, unfortunately, we raised a very small money. It was just over. It was between 25 lakhs. Um, we spent that money in 6 months' time when I realized this. So by the time I realized my mistake, I was like, okay, I know what I have to do now, but then I have a team, I have to pay the salaries, and how do I rectify my mistake? So I was at that situation. So to fix that situation, my investors were like, fine, it's, how it goes. It's like, so you're not progressing, then let's leave it like that, so that's how it was, right? So they were also very good, they were very cooperative, but they were silent mostly. So fact is, we didn't have money, but we had a team, and I didn't want to lose my team. I was very, very stubborn on that, right? And I didn't want to shut down the business. It was hardly just few months since we started, how can I shut down, so haven't even started hustling yet. Things were very easy for us till then. So we pivoted Jobin. I had to make it as a platform, but making it as a platform was 4 months, and I don't have money to run for 4 months. Okay, I have to make money in 20 days, right? So that was a reality, to pay my employees the next month's salary. So it was so critical, right? So of course I borrowed money, and myself and my co-founder Amrit, both of us put some money, and we did that month. But next month's salary was again coming. The payroll was the biggest expenses, because all our cloud credits, everything you used to have when you're 1 year old. So everything was fine. And our office was just on top of a bar in Bangalore. So it was hardly peanuts. So it was pretty good. So the second pivot we did is, we made our product and we sold it directly to, we tried selling it to colleges. Okay. Because we thought they are not demanding like corporate customers. They are sweeter people who will buy the product and just give the money. It was a coding assessment platform, and of course colleges need that platform to train students with, right? So I took that platform and I met colleges. I went to Coimbatore. It is a city in Tamil Nadu which has a lot of colleges. 25 colleges I visited over a 1 month, right? And people were interested, but I realized money won't come fast from colleges. It will take 6 to 7 months. I was sitting in the canteen, of course, with a lot of depressing thoughts running in my head, right? But at that point of time, I saw a bunch of students. I demoed the software to them, right? And I said to them that you can practice coding and you can clear your interview in Google. Within 15 minutes, two of them paid 5,000 rupees so that I can keep doing this for them for 2 months' time, right? So, and we immediately gave them access to the platform, just normal practice platform for them to keep practicing the 20-30 coding questions that they had. And we also said we will mentor you to solve these problems, so they quickly adapted. So in the next 8 months, we made 30 lakhs in revenue. Uh, so that was, and all this till 2018 March, we were like, we thought we have found our thing, and 30 lakhs we made. And this was before the white hat juniors, or before the stuff, right? So, and I saw clear growth plan in this, right? Yes, the core aspect here is sales, and the sales people have to be trained, right? If I can hire 20 to 25 sales people, I can grow this 10 to 15x time within 1.5 years time, right? I don't need any funding. I had a clear plan. But then we were still doing it. I was even invited to teach AI and coding to over 30 to 35 different faculties, including faculties from NIT Trichy and all, with our platform. So it was a part of platform and mentoring. So it even extended till 2019. But 2019 again, I got reminded about why we started Zobit in first place. We wanted to solve the problem in recruitment, but we are not able to do. We made one wrong decision of offering services, right? We raised too early, but money got exhausted, and then you started doing this. But this is not your purpose. This is again not a scalable business. You have to keep hiring more salespeople, and you have to convince students, their parents, to pay money. This really cannot go on, right? So, but luckily we had 3 to 4 months of payroll with us. By this time, we realized, right? All of us got married and all. We were pretty much running, and once COVID came, during that point of time, right, we accelerated our actual pivot that is there right now, the current version of Zobin, as a skill assessment platform for fixing all talent management problems. So we built whatever we wanted to with the money we had. We just needed 3 months of payroll to be able to build that product. Had we had that money in 2017, we could have been 2 years before than where we are right now. So this was the hard lesson that I learned as to how not to spend money, right? And I think this lesson will be there with me for the rest of my life. And yes, so we completely made Zobin as a platform in 2019. And post COVID, we completely accelerated our growth. And we were able to cleanly, properly market and target our customers, get some of our early customers, and then reinvest that money. And today we are now working with over 1,000 plus customers, right? And we have exceeded 500K in ARR in run rate, all by completely bootstrapping. So that's been our journey so far.
Oh, that is like so many ups and downs, and then pivots, and like learning from like trying different things, and then figuring out, okay, this is not working, this is not working, and then finally hitting onto that uh, I would say a gem of an idea that, okay, we need to build a platform, and that is the way
True.
forward. So how did like that in 2019 you mentioned that you scaled rapidly, right? And I think that was very difficult time as well, right? So a lot of companies, like there's a lot of uncertainties in the market, right? So how did it worked out really well in case of Zobin? Like, so was it like the companies going remote was one of the aspect that like helped you acquire more and more customers?
So in 2020, when our pandemic kicked in, like only in late 2019, we finalized our product. All the subscription aspects of it we introduced, right? A lot of things we had to fix, like onboarding of a customer, free trial, a lot of things, inside product marketing, everything, we had to do in order to make it to launch in the market. As soon as we did, COVID came, and all of us had to leave our offices and come back home. And we were a smaller team then, so it was an all hands call as such. And then everybody was silent. But then I said, let's stop pretending as though this is new to us. And the last 3 years has been like COVID for us. We've been fighting month on month for our next month's survival, right? So this is not new to us, but this is going to be a shocking reality to our competitors. and because they are not used to it, they are used with they are flooded with a lot of money, and but this is going to be a shocker for them. So we have to make use of that, right? Let's try to display some of our competitors customers, and let's try innovative strategies to get more customers easily and understanding their situation. So that is when we launched some of very interesting pricing plans, which some of our competitors cannot do. So let me try and explain this to you simply. In assessments, you are charged per assessment. Per assessment is $2, $3. That's how the assessment industry runs. You buy 100 assessments, 3 assessments. So in 2020, during the lockdown time, what we did is we offered something called as unlimited plans, where we said you will get unlimited assessments for a fixed $200 subscription. So many of them laughed actually that as to why this, how this will work, why this will work, why you are doing this, how can you even survive this? But the fact is, assessments are nothing but it's just like a emails. Nobody charges you for sending one emails. You can send unlimited emails. You're charged per seat, right? So we instead capped the concurrency. We said that at a given point of time, 100 people can take up the test. More than that, you go to the next plan. You pay $400, right? You know, if 500 because I am going to be billed. I'm not having free server credits. By now, everything was exhausted. Okay, so nobody had my back. As soon as investors left, everyone's backed off. My bill in a serverless environment will only increase when concurrency increases. Okay, so I cap on that and I'm good. So that was received very well in the market, especially by small companies that wanted to assess a lot of students in colleges. They were not able to afford our competitors at all. Given the market scenario, it was completely thing, and they all wanted only online assessments. 2020 was a very good year for us because people had to interact online with people, and we won over several of our competitors core customers. We even got some enterprise customers. uh, so we almost had a 4x jump in revenue, and 2020 we were happy, you know, so because that's what we actually wanted to do in 2017. If everything was okay, had we raised a small seed funding, we could have done it in 8 months time, but it has taken 3 years time without money and hard lessons to reach there, but we reached.
So this innovation in pricing, right? Many SaaS companies that I talk to, they struggle with like figuring out what is the right way to price, right? And I think you touched upon a really good aspect that you figured out like what is it that is costing me money, and basically I'll do a premium on top of that. So concurrency was something that you figured out that okay, concurrency is something that I am paying for, and I should be able to charge for that to my end users, right? So how did that insight came up? Like how did you come to that conclusion that okay, my competitors are charging for number of tests, but I'll charge for concurrency?
So one, the problem is we had like two problems. One, we had no marketing budget. Whatever money we had through our previous hustle, we had only for paying ourselves, right? You know, the biggest expense was the founder salary, right? You know, and our team was also like fine. So our founder salary was the biggest expense for our company because that was the thing. Apart from that, marketing was nothing. We had no money to even do. So we had to do something huge for people to start talking about, right? So what is that one crazy thing you can do, right? You know, to for people to talk about, right? You know, whether it is good or bad, what is that one thing you can do so that people notice you? That was the intent, right? You know, so it's like I want to go to the mid road and scream, guys, I'm here. How do I do it? So the pricing was an answer to that. Whether it is a right pricing for our product or not, I don't want to discuss about it, but at that point of time, all what I wanted was attention, and this pricing got me that, right? You know, many competitors got annoyed by this. Imagine someone who is selling per unit, and I say I give you unlimited for a flat price, you know. So uh, they were like, they first, it was typical thing, they first ignored, then they laughed, and then they became angry. Every time when I go to a conference, they will stare at me and say, "You guys give unlimited, right?" Right? And then they'll give me that stare, right? So the pricing was an answer as a marketing thing. That was the reason for that. Second thing is we were apart from our salary, the next expense was the engineering expense, right? So my thought was, if I can cut down the engineering expenses, we can hire more marketing people, or we can have some more budget in marketing this thing, right? And in assessment, concurrency is the core reason why people cannot build this product in house, because they don't have the knowledge of being able to scale the product rapidly. Because at a given point of time, 500 students will write the test. Even if every single line of your code is correct, if you don't manage your infrastructure properly, if you can't scale it at that particular point of time, then you're done. Assessment will crash. Or you have to make sure that that scale is there always. Okay, for that you need money. So to have a constant server at a high capacity to run always money. So we used a bunch of serverless tools that will spike up only when traffic is there, right? And only when concurrency limits cross, we will be charged high. So if we can lock concurrency, then it's fine. It was really beautiful to see how some of the early customers, because they were also companies like us, their business was people intensive businesses, staffing businesses, or body shopping kind of businesses. It was people intensive businesses. They couldn't afford our competitors. They use a platform, so they knew we will only allow 100 people at a time. So they timed the test. 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock only you guys can take. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you guys can take the test. So they got into the rhythm, and it was very good for us, because less errors in the platform, less bugs in the platform, customers are happy, candidates are happy. We are getting money not from one customers, but we had a good amount of subscription people coming, because they kept coming and coming and coming. So that's how our early engine started in 2020.
So pricing was one point where like customer were interested in exploring your product, but another challenge which most of the SaaS companies face is the discovery. Like how do they come about? How do they discover your product, right? So how did you solve that problem?
So definitely in the early days, finding customers was the number one challenge. So going to these events and having our presence there was the free thing that we could really do. So we are attending a lot of events, and recruitment as such is a problem. It's a quite common problem that everyone will have. So assessments is something people were able to relate to. So we just had to walk out of our office and meet people. um, Most of us in our team were introverts as well, so we had to push ourselves to go out and meet people. I still remember one of the early customers we had was Fusion Charts, which was run by Pallav Nadani as such. So he had posted in a forum that he's going to Bangalore to Chennai to attend a SaaS event. Does anyone want to come by? 30 people commented, but he started in a Saturday morning, and all Bangaloreans, they slept off. So, but I went and knocked his house bell at exactly the time he said. I came, I saw your Facebook post, take me to Chennai. So I had an entire car journey with Pallav. So I still remember the journey. And within 2 months, Fusion Chats was a customer. And so with that logo, we were able to get many customers. So building authenticity is something that has always rewarded us. So when people come to a landing page, they don't want to see more fancy things, but they just want to see whether you're authentic or not. Okay, so who's using your product, and whether you guys are really trustable people, or you're just some new product that will come today and go off tomorrow, right? So we started building as much as putting as much as authentic information in our website. Okay, this big companies use, right? uh, so we were published recently, we got covered by this journalist, take a look, right? I think those things were enough. And from day one, we did not do any outbound sales as such. There is no reason why we didn't do. Okay, so people ask me why you don't do outbound sales as such, right? There is no reason why, right? With whatever resources we had, whatever we did. So the playbook for a bootstrap companies are always different. So we focus more on inbound sales, right? And even now, Xobin's SEO presence is actually better than many of our funded uh, competitors, because we had invested it from the beginning. So we started focusing our inbound. We were inbound first, and we got many leads inbound, and we did a lot of online webinars, events, right? And referral also kicked in. So all these factors put together made sure that we got a good set of healthy inbound leads every month. So it was all about understanding their requirements, fine tuning the product, and making sure that uh, we are able to reinvest that money back and grow our lead, our funnel, marketing funnel.
So right now, like in inbound, like which channels are working for you? Like if you were to distribute all the inbound.
So right now, I think in the last 8 months, like since we are at the highest point of our revenue, so our strategy in the last 6 months is different from our strategy at early days. I'll just cover both put together. Initial days, we were only focusing on generating content,
Sure.
right, and getting backlinks and all the usual SEO stats to reach up to the bar, and plus word of mouth and normal marketing activities that got us initial the set of leads. But right now we do more online events that create more authenticity. So one event that we do is the top HRs to follow in this year. We've conducted 4 seasons. So every year we give awards to the top 100 HRs that you can follow, right? So in that way, we are connected with almost 1,000, 2,000 HRs, right? All of them accept our awards, and in a way, they have already built a bigger image of Zobin, and those people started interacting with us very regularly, and we learned a lot from them, and they referred our products. So this was one small hack we did, but we never knew we will get it will get accelerated. So we created one online event that happens year over year. We executed it well. We got in real juries to give awards to HRs, and we created a big community of HRs. And we create awareness through LinkedIn because talent management as a function still hasn't accepted skill assessments wholeheartedly. There are still people yet to adapt assessments, so we create awareness through LinkedIn, and we get actionable leads through Google Ads and through other search channels, right? And I think these two things are working well for us at this point of time. And yes, so we are also now hiring more senior people into the team uh, who have their own friends and colleagues in various companies, right? So we attend a lot of events. Our team attends a lot of events, right? And so we're also exploring other channels, and we're actively improving. One thing I've learned is what works for 4 months doesn't work for the next 4 months. So we keep changing it. So it's not like whatever I say is going to keep working for me. It's I have to rethink, and as a team, we have to rethink our strategy the next quarter. So
Okay. So every 4 months, like the strategy changes, but I think the core remains same, right? So the core theme of this is build a community of people who can spread word of mouth, who can vouch for the product, build authenticity, build trust among the customers, and then they bring in more customers. I think one of the best way to acquire legit customers and best way to scale a SaaS product, right? So if you have
yeah,
ICP,
yeah.
your ICP figured out, and then if you keep on nurturing the ICP, I think a lot of you can acquire new and new leads, and the word of mouth will spread, and the more and more customers will keep coming.
Also, parallelly while doing this, we make sure that the product is fine, and it should be patched well. And one of the other things that has also worked is to keep collecting feedbacks from customers and making it publicly available. So if a customer asks us to sign an NDA saying that, hey, you can't say that I've used your product, but here is my 2 lakhs, take and give me your product, we say no. So we sign NDAs, but we don't say that we don't agree to the term that we can't disclose that you are using our product. So we get offended by that even. So we make sure we take those decisions. And even now, if you go to G2 or other review platforms, compare Zobin's public reviews with um, some of our other competitors, we would, though our review quantity is less, but we would have got the highest quality of reviews and highest number of positive reviews as such. So all these factors complement the referrals and word of mouth, everything heavily.
Great, great. And I think over the period of time, the ICP has also changed, right? So earlier, like you started with small and medium businesses, which were looking for a solution which was reasonably priced, and now we are also serving enterprise customers. And both of these have a different recruitment process, right? Enterprises will have very complex recruitment process, multiple tests and things like that, right? Uh, while smaller businesses will have a fairly straightforward recruitment process. So, how did you like make sure the platform serves the need of both type of customers?
To be frank, working with enterprises is was much more easier for us than working with smaller customers. Just selling to enterprises is difficult, but working with them is was very easy. They are not really too demanding in nature. They really understand you, they respect you, and they value you a lot, right? So, but selling to them is at one point of time you will be convincing the decision makers, and then the legal team, and then the procurement team as such, right? And you have to get into a lot of compliances, right? So you need a whole bunch of compliances to solve. The legal team, procurement team will suddenly ask for your revenue information and all, and hiring managers will be in a hurry to buy the product. But selling is 6 7 months. But once you sell, and of course we don't sell the unlimited pricing uh, to everyone anymore. We have now a different pricing strategy, because we've also got to scale and grow higher, especially with enterprises. Unlimited really does not work, so we have a per assessment pricing. So the reward is good, and working with them is very easy. It is, they understand, they have a specific problem, you tell it to them, and they are self-served, and it's very good. Also, we set the expectations clearly. We tell them that we don't customize things too much. This is the product, right? The product is ours. You're using your service on your own, so you have to help yourselves and you have to use, and good. So we've got a sizably good number of enterprise customers now, and it's easier to work with them than our SMEs. As a From a product perspective, yeah, the recruitment process is different for different companies, like you rightly mentioned, but assessment more or less is the same. Assessment alone is going to be a very process. It was Our assessment module was always enterprise ready. We built it for enterprises which SMEs were using it. Okay, and so in that way we didn't have to make any product change specifically we are going to do for enterprises. Only some extra papers we had to get ISO compliant, and we had to get ISO from a reputable ISO service provider. So, and we had to get SOC 2 and GDPR, all these paperwork. Though it may be small, but it takes a lot of your, as a founder's time, to get these certificates. And so those were the things that we had to change in the organization. But product remains the same. Product support remains the same. It was always enterprise ready.
So a lot of startups that I talk to, they struggle with this entire process, right? They don't know how to like go about acquiring an enterprise customer, even though they might have like a lot of inbound leads or interest coming in. Some they don't know the entire process. So can you like walk us through that journey? Like how did you acquire your first enterprise customer, and what was the process like? It must have taken like six
Okay.
to eight months, right? To fulfill all the
Okay.
requirements and get MPIN and all other things. So if you can just walk us through the process and tell the story of your first enterprise customer, that would help.
Okay, so I'll take one example of a customer. So this customer, I don't want to name the customer. I still don't know the NDA terms, but this customer is a fairly huge customer in the real estate industry. Everyone knows them as such. So they are present across 6 7 countries in a big way, and so they came as inbound, and it was through. I think we had given a HR award to one of their colleagues, and that impression is very strong. So, and so they quickly gave Xobin a try. They loved the product, right? And then so that company's smaller team, okay, we gave them a free trial to use the product, right? And this was like we didn't go via outbound. This was the inbound, right? So here the step is, we did inbound. I'll give you two examples, one for inbound and one for outbound, right? So for inbound, this was inbound, so it was very easy for us. So no convincing, no talking. So we took a free trial, and then we gave them uh, a quote. The India division of that company didn't ask for too much compliances, because they had worked with a lot of companies in India, and they procured a very small quantity immediately. But then the Europe division of this particular company, we got using customer success. One of our customer success team members was able to build a good relationship with the India team and got the Europe team on board, and that was huge. So we recently won that customer in December, but that customer we are following up since April. So first 3 months we spent with the decision maker, and they were like asking so many questions about our product, and we had to do. We are patiently waiting for them, and then the next 2 months they asked us to fill. It was about legal aspects. It was about our security, and they asked us to do a whole range of things like VAPT again and again, tests again, and so much. And then the procurement team had several questions, and finally the finance team came in, and then they put a big bomb, and then they asked questions about, are you an Indian company or are you a US company? And then I'm like, oh my god, this is the questions I don't want. And then we had to create so we have a US company as well, so they wanted documents from the US company, so we had to uh, wait for again a month's time. And it was like a 8 months wait to get a deal that is greater than $20,000. uh, it's not a big money, but to get something more than $20,000 we had to wait for like 8 months. So that's the thing. So what we do is, with SMEs, we are like, give me the money fast, give me the money fast, and then I'll give you the product. It's very simple, right? So it's like, give the money and give the ticket. It's like that. But with enterprises, it's not like that. What conversations you had this month, right? Is it going positively or is it going negatively, right? How can we create a more interesting conversation this month? And that's all. Sit back and relax, right? Don't pressure your team as to when my money will come. Otherwise, what are you doing? Don't do anything of that sort, but enjoy the process along with them, right? And give time, be completely positive, and yes, so it definitely happens. So in every deal there is someone called as a champion who really likes your product, so keep building relationships with them, and that happens. So now once you've got the Europe, again we've got a referral from the Europe already for US, right? So our journey starts today. We don't know where it will take us, and but it's a big thing. So this is with inbound, things get interesting. People already like you. That first impression is going to take you to places, right? So don't miss out on them. And with respect to outbound, for me personally, reaching out to the top management works fine. So to one of the largest staffing firms in the world is our customer, and with them I directly wrote to the head of the uh, firm. So it was like, he's directly the CEO, and I just pinged him on LinkedIn, right? So I'm sure you know everything about this GPD revolution as such, but we've been using that in Xobin a lot, and we see a lot of promising results, right? I'm sure you've already done this, but I think I can share a couple of things that both of us can learn. Are you ready for a call? One message, and then he connects me with his colleagues, and then apparently that colleague was my college senior by fluke. Okay, I became lucky again here. So, and then we discussed, and selling to enterprises in India is slightly more easier. Okay, so but selling to enterprises in US or in Europe, in that region, is a more headache. So so this company, outbound reach, they closed, and they're one of our largest using customers. But again, selling to outside India, there are companies that ask us to get an insurance for $1 million, a $10 million, and keep. So I mean, so cyber security insurance, right? So $10 million insurance alone will cost us 4 5 lakhs. All this at a procurement stage. Okay, so uh, heavy paperworks are involved when you're selling globally. So these are challenges where we have to patiently handle. We are slowly learning that part as well.
I think over the period of time, this time, like in the first customer, it might have taken 8 months, but over the period of time, you learn a lot of things, right? Like what are they going to ask, what kind of paperwork will be needed, what they need to see in
Yeah,
the demo, and everything, and it becomes the process becomes more better. Timeline, I'm
yeah,
not
you
sure
do.
because
Yeah,
it depends on multiple factors, but at least you, as a founder, you can have a little bit more predictability in terms of if the sale will close or not, right?
Yeah, you become less anxious. It's like it's not like every day morning we get a meet. Oh, that's wrong, because this will take time, and though big money is at stake, this is going to take time. It's a very very slow.
Right. So I wanted to shift the focus on a slightly broader questions on the overall recruitment industry. I think a lot of things are happening, and in your previous answer, you also mentioned GPT, and I also saw your 2023 Rapin or like review. I saw that video. I think you've shipped a lot of things. So, can you share more insights into the industry, like what is happening, how GPT is impacting the industry, what kind of trends are emerging, and how are you leveraging those trends?
So one thing that has happened is 70 percentage of the resumes that are now coming, they're all written by ChatGPT. Now this is becoming a big problem for all the people who don't want to use AI, because like it or not, the candidates are using and the Gen Z is used to using it. And people students are studying using ChatGPT. They are going to college and they're studying. Ninth standard students, 10th standard students finish their homework with this. The new generations are AI first, truly. So without that, it's like without calculator what you'll do. It's so much like that, and this changes a lot of things altogether. I think it is able to write pieces of code so beautifully that only a top hacker or a top coder could actually write, and English is becoming the because you write prompts in English, right? Your critical thinking capacity and your communication is the biggest thing that has to be assessed, and we realized that. And till 3.5 was launched, I was like, okay. But once I saw the early preview of ChatGPT 4, I'm like, oh my god, we have to go all in on this. Like it or not, we have to go all in on this, right? So 70% of our assessments now are actually evaluated by AI, because the type of assessments that people really want are more than coding assessments. They really want psychometric assessments, and they want candidates to talk like this. And then they want someone like us to use AI and check how good this guy is talking. So um, and that's more than enough, right? Because even in a proper assessments, plagiarism is happening a lot, because you can get answers in your phone, or you can do anything and you can paste it, right? So while at one hand we are doing everything to prevent the disaster from happening, flood is coming, and we are building a big wall so that the flood cannot come. That is the secure browsers and the plagiarism detectors using AI. But on the other hand, we are rebuilding our entire assessment engine so that it is completely AI proof, so that rethink the way how assessments are done. Small example: coding questions were evaluated by test cases. So if you want to write a program to check to print 2 plus 2, you give to sum of two numbers, you give a lot of test cases: 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 4 plus 4, right? But those evaluations can now be done much better by AI than by passing test cases. And it can give you two times more information than what the traditional evaluation engines do, right? And in a go, you can actually evaluate many many programming languages, right? So that is very interesting. So the type of questions that people are asking in assessments have drastically changed, right? And our evaluations method have also changed. And more importantly, you are able to check few things that you could have never even thought of. Like, people want to check what accent you are talking. Okay. So, and they don't want people who are talking in native English, Indian accent, right? They want to be able to hire people who are able to talk in American accent, right? So you are now able to predict accent also with AI. So those things are becoming very valuable for companies who are hiring talent in different industries.
So you mentioned that you built an entire browser just to prevent users from using AI to take the test.
Yeah, that's true. So so here in this case, so we had, before we launched the browser, we did have our proctoring capacity strong in our system. Like when you go to off tab, we detect you, and we did all those things, right? But using secure browsers, we are able to do much more, like swapping between desktops. So you can, because at a browser level you can actually control that particular behavior. You can literally stop candidates from switching between desktops, right? You can lock them. They can't do anything as such, right? So the browser definitely does add value. But on top of that, we have done few more things, like which acts as a severe deterrence for candidates to copy. Whatever you're doing in the screen, a live proctor will be there watching you. Okay. So and most candidates really, they don't do anything as soon as they see a live proctor there. Okay. So deterrence, and is better than challenging a candidate. Okay, I have built this, can you now try and cheat? Okay, and then some guy will be like, let me try and hack Zobin and show you, and then he'll put a YouTube video, and that will inspire, right? So our intent is never to tease the candidate. Okay, so we do that. We've seen several of our competition being severely backlashed by that. We have very powerful technology. This is our bread and butter, right? But you take a choice whether you want to do it or not, right? And we don't reveal a lot of our security measures before they start the test. So they click start, the timer starts, and we tell them, you can't do this, you can't do this, we are watching you. So their focus is obviously on solving the assessment. And yes, the secure browser is uh, one such measure to stop the candidates from cheating.
So most of the companies, I think, they focus on, when they plan to use Chat GPT, they focus on content generation, right? So they would think about, okay, how do I use GPT to, let's say, generate tests, right, or generate test questions and things like that, right? But in your case, you are using it to evaluate candidates. How did that use case came up, and how did you come up with this solution where you are able to detect accent and the speech and all other aspects of the test?
So for our evaluation engine, we don't use ChatGPT. We use another open source model, right? So primarily, these LLMs have a huge reasoning capacity. They're able to reason things. So you can give any reason to them, and you can ask it to, like, can you reason why I'm correct? It will give you a reason. Can you give a reason why I'm not correct? It will still give a reason. So I found that very fascinating, right? I just wanted to see how I can play with it, right? So casually exploring various models that were able to do. Few models were able to accurately evaluate your answers, even better than ChatGPT. Like more than generating content, just evaluation, right? It is able to do well. So our AI questions, they have something called as a target answer, which you have to set while creating the question, right? So that kind of acts like a guardrail, but it's more or less it's just a target answer, right? So some models can very powerfully compare the target answer with the real answer, and then come up with few data, few information, right? And based on that and previous candidates' scores, we are able to quickly come up with a score, right? And then it is able to generate reasons as to why the score is apt for this particular candidate, right? So we try lot of things. So one thing that I have said to the engineering team is, you should not spend a day writing code on your own. You go AI first, right? Not using AI in your work is waste of your time. Like, you don't have to use it secretly, right? It is you have to use it. Without using it, you're doing something wrong, because I want your time to be amplified. So when that goes, everything that the top players, for example, OpenAI launched assistants, right? So we have already built a prototype where we use assistants, and we're able to build something like ChatGPT for recruitment, right? And it is very, very good. It's very good. So we are testing the waters, and it's very promising. So I think this freedom, the engineering team, they create on their own, because it's basic common sense, and they are able to innovate better than a founder. So yeah, just going on that, right?
A lot of interesting use cases are coming up. So one of my friend, they have built a video interviewer using AI. So I tested that demo. It's really cool, right? So there's actually an AI video that is asking question, evaluating candidate, and then generating a report. So
That's very
it would be
true.
interesting to
That's
see
true.
like what kind of more and more use cases come up in this. So I think we are in the final segment. A couple of questions and then we'll wrap it up. Uh, Talk about one of the biggest failure in this entire journey. Like,
I wouldn't call. I'm not able to think of a failure as such, right? So because I was, I was not successful in raising money. I have to admit it, but I'm quite happy with the decision because we are a 500K ARR business, completely bootstrapped, and we have so much of control over the business and comfort and mental peace that we couldn't have imagined. But yes, I started the journey by trying to raise funds, but that was something that I was not successful in. But that's a very very good successful failure. Yeah.
and what would you describe as one of the biggest win in this entire journey?
I think I had a great team. Without them, honestly, nothing would have been possible. I had a great co-founder. Amrit was my good friend from college, and then I got my initial set of team. They didn't leave me like for 3 4 years. They're there, So, and I think every innovative decision is made by my team. So, and that's the biggest success and win I've had. And we use Zobin for screening and evaluating talent.
Your top three advices to all the SaaS entrepreneurs who are like just starting to build their business.
I don't know whether I'll touch three, but I can tell few good advices. The first thing is do not take any advice directly because what works for me definitely won't work for you, right? So uh, keep that in mind. Remember every single advice, but don't follow it. And similarly, don't look for any playbooks where you can join and learn and implement the same playbook in your organization. Entrepreneurs should build their own playbooks because your journey, your mental strategy, the psychology of your customers, your team is different from others, right? So you really cannot adopt a playbook. You have to really invent your playbook, right? And build a very good team. So this could be the last one because uh, the more you learn to delegate, the more successful you become. See, for example, it's been 2 years since I wrote a line of code, and 3 years before, I really cannot imagine doing that. But the company has grown a lot from the time I stopped reviewing the code and doing that. Because when you stop accepting that you're best at doing something, you will find someone else, right? And that is when you learn and grow. So,
Great. Great. And how do you, so apart from the work, like how do you spend your time?
right. So I have this problem. I really cannot sit in one place for more than 2 hours. So I am someone I have to keep uh, standing up, going out, and I'm doing stuff. So there is a beautiful pool table in our office in Chennai. So I'm usually with that. So and I read books. So they keep me engaged quite a bit. And I try a lot of. There are a lot of seasonal things I do apart from work. In one season I did surfing. One season I was a fitness freak. One season I was playing a flute, and in one season I thought I will be a chess grandmaster, but turns out I'm not. Right. So it's a more seasonal thing. But yeah. So I find my hobbies and keep myself engaged. So whatever you can do, be happy. That's all.
Great. Your book recommendation for our audience?
So the I'm actually authoring a book. So I'm reading a lot of books for as a reference for that book. But the one book I think people should read is this is one book called the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. I think it was written by someone called Eric. I don't know the full name, but it's not a typical book. So even if you're not a book reader, you can actually read it. Um, it just compiles a lot of tweets, and it talks about various things that he's said over a lot of years, and it's very good. Even if you're not a book reader, you can just read that book. You will learn a couple of things from his perspective. And I think that was very interesting read.
So this is such a beautiful coincidence that in the previous episode I asked Sai the same question and his answer was also same. So I think
Oh, okay. Oh, honestly, I don't. Honestly, I didn't watch it completely. Should I change my answer?
I
Okay,
think
so
people should definitely read this book because there's a lot of good insights in that, and not just about tech or building business, but I think in general, uh, life advices are also there. So definitely love it and recommend everyone. So
it's a
with
really
this,
good. So
yeah.
it's a really good coincidence. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, yeah. So I think with this, we'll wrap it up. We'll have you again after a couple of episodes with more insights, more learnings. Okay. So to our audience, I hope you like this episode. I would definitely appreciate it if you spread word about this podcast. If you love this podcast, please subscribe to YouTube channel. Tell your friends about it, and we'll see you in the next episode.